Alright everyone, today I'm going to explore rural Kansas. Here, let me show you where I'm at on the map. I'm in the bottom right hand corner, the southeast corner. A forgotten area, if you will. You don't hear too much news coming out of this part of the state, but it looks really interesting. Of course, I will be seeing these places for the first time, just like you. Well, except for those of you who live here. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But before we do that, I'm actually in Oklahoma, right on the border with Kansas, in a town called Picher. Now, Picher is a genuine ghost town. Here's the current population numbers. As of today, it's 0. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the town as I begin a drive-through. It's a mining town. Lead and zinc was discovered here in the early 1900s, and the town exploded overnight. 1926, there were almost 15,000 people here. 18,000 people worked the mines. I'll give you a shot of this. And, well, there was a problem with the mines, and that was the byproduct when you separated the lead and zinc out of the ground. The byproduct was called chat, and it's toxic. And so citizens and children here got lead poisoning, and the town had to be evacuated. The EPA declared the town uninhabitable, forced everyone to move out of here, and this is what you have left. Looks like they have a memorial of some sort here. I don't know if you can see that there in the distance, right on the other side of that gorilla. That's another huge pile of that chat. 1A football state champs 1984. Yeah. Picher gorillas. Yeah, and I've got a little place marking what happened here in the town. Got some Christmas decorations up. It's early November, by the way. Pretty chilly. It's about 28 degrees right now. First cold day for me this year. Here and there you'll see a home that was left. In this case, a mobile home. It's just disintegrating in the ground where it sits. Here we go. Restricted area. No trespassing. Wow. Danger, keep out. Most of the town has been torn down, it looks like. For some reason they left these homes still standing. They look a bit newer, don't they? Or they were newer. Anyway, I'm a gamer, and one of my favorite games is Fallout 4, and this totally reminds me of that. You know, in the game, it's post-apocalyptic, and you come out of like storage of some sort where you were frozen in time, and this is what the world looks like when you get out. So eerie, isn't it? Like, this is a neighborhood where kids played, and you know, people raised families. Well, this road goes into Kansas. Now look at that. An old gas station right here on the border. All right, well, I'm going to head into Kansas now. There's the sign. Welcome to Kansas. Kansas welcomes you. Alright, I'm going to go to the first town that we're going to visit. It's called Baxter Springs. So, it's coming up right now. Alright, I am in Baxter Springs, Kansas right now. Let me show you on the map. Yeah, you can see I'm right here. This is Oklahoma. We got Missouri right here. So as you can see, very much in the bottom corner, the right corner of the state. Galena's right there. We're going to go there next. But at the moment, it's all about Baxter Springs. Now I'm going to drive into downtown right now, show it to you. Some interesting history in this town that I'm going to tell you about. I'll probably get out on foot to do that, but I'll do a quick drive through now. I will tell you that there are about 3,900 people here. Peak population was in 1940. There were 5,000 people. Some little tidbits of information. The town is on Route 66. Bonnie and Clyde robbed businesses here. In 1863, during the Civil War, the town was raided by Quantrill's raiders. Did I say the word raider twice? Anyway, now Quantrill's raiders were Confederate guerrilla fighters. Jesse James and Frank James were both members of it, by the way. They attacked a fort here, Fort Baxter. They failed, but some Union soldiers were en route into Arkansas, and the Quantrill raiders attacked and killed every one of them. It's known as the Fort Baxter Massacre. Now, a few years later, this became a pit stop for Texas cowboys bringing up cattle to be loaded on trains to Kansas City. So in the 70s, this became one of the most notorious cow towns in the country, on par with Dodge City. It was a town full of brothels, saloons, gambling houses, you name it. It was one of those wild cow towns or wild western towns that you see in the movies. But then the railroads came into North Texas and it ended. Then years later, zinc and lead was discovered here, just like it was in nearby Picher, Oklahoma, which, by the way, is only about 7 miles away. We were just barely across the border, as I showed you. And but the difference is, the reason this town is still standing is that the city leaders at the time wouldn't allow the mining to happen in the city limits. And that turned out to be smart, because the city survived that. Anyway, here's some hard numbers. Poverty rate is 10.8%. That's below the national average. That's good. Median household income is $37,900. According to the U.S. Census, in 2020, homes on average were worth $71,200 here. That's really low. According to Realtor.com, the average value in 2022 is $109,500. So that's a pretty big jump. I'm going to start adding the average age of person who lives here. It was suggested to me by a commenter, several commenters actually, and it's a good idea. The average age of citizens here are 39.9 years old, so almost 40. Anyway, I'm going to check out a couple of historic sites before we head out to the next town. Now, this is the Baxter Springs Independent Oil and Gas Service Station. It's been preserved. It's now a visitor center, as you can see, for Route 66. It's on the National Register. Architecturally, it is English Tudor, medieval style. Really interesting that you have this kind of architecture here in rural Kansas. I am on Route 66 right now. Wow, it's hard to imagine this being one of the main thoroughfares across the country at one time. This little 2-lane road. And this is it. There's no traffic on it now. I haven't seen a single car. But anyway, I'm where I was wanting to come to. This is the Rainbow Bridge. Yeah, I think you can drive across it. This is the only bridge of its kind on Route 66. Let me see, I think I can, yeah. They let you drive across it. It is on the National Register. It was built in 1923. There's the first vehicle I've seen. Anyway, yeah, they let you get off the road here and cross the bridge. I guess so you can say that you did it. So, let's do it. Let's cross historic Rainbow Bridge. Way, way, way in the furthest corner of Kansas. Yeah. Let's see what it says here. Rainbow Curve Bridge, constructed in 1923 over Brush Creek. Only remaining Marsh Arch Bridge on Route 66. Listed on the National Registry 1983. There you go. We're going to drive across it. Think of all the countless families and their station wagons driving on this road back in the day, crossing this bridge. You can see the river there, or the creek. What do they call it? Brush Creek? Yeah, cool. Look, I got to stop. I guess for all this traffic that's coming the other direction. All right, everyone, I have arrived in Galena, Kansas. I'm driving into downtown right now. Let's get a look at it. We'll wait for this light to turn green. Oh, there it goes. Big Coca-Cola mural there, Route 66. Look here on the other side, they've got a Pepsi one too, not to be outdone. Anyway, peak population for this town was in the year 1900. There were 10,200 people there here. Today there's about 2,700. So the town has had a significant loss of population over the past 120 years. Anyway, it does have one really cool claim to fame. I'm going to try to show that to you. Just drive through this downtown first. See what all we can see here. Wow. Yeah, I got a lot of empty stuff here. The town's really showing its age. In this part, yeah, it's pretty clear this was a much bigger town at once. You can see all this faded infrastructure, empty buildings. But I believe this is where I'm going to want to be. Yes. I'll stop here in a second. Let me show you some more stuff here. Alright, that's it for downtown. So I'm going to turn around and show you the really cool claim to fame this town has. Just past it, by the way. I'm going to get out to show it to you. Now I'm at the Canotex service station, a historical building. But this is the main claim to fame that it has. If you've ever watched the movie Cars, the Disney movie, you probably were familiar with this truck right here, Mater. Here is a full-size replica of Mater. Right next to him is the very truck that they used to create Mater. This is the truck that inspired the actual character. This is the actual truck. It is a International Harvester L170. I guess the artists and animators saw this truck and decided it would be great, a great look for Mater, and so here's Mater himself. How about that? Yeah, here we go. Toe Tater Inspiration for Tow Matari 1951 International. Let's see, in Galena, Kansas, we found a lonely old tow truck that most folks would pass by without a second glance. Our head of story, Joe Rent, however, saw beyond its rust and broken down parts. He saw the inspiration for the character Mater. They soon became kindred spirits. Joe gave Mater his warmth, his sense of fun, his humble and generous spirit, and his capacity to see and bring out the best in others. So there it is. Yeah. That's so cool. Yeah, this is the truck that inspired Mater. So there you guys go. Now right there in the middle frame is where Mater is. Just down the road here a ways, they got another little oddity. It's called Luigi's Pit Stop. I think it's more Cars-inspired stuff. Well, let's see what the sign says. Signed by the voice of the sheriff himself on the driver's side door. So I guess this was from the movie Cars as well. Tractor tipping. Yeah, they got a whole thing here dedicated to the Cars movie, the animated movie. Look at that. That's pretty cool, I have to say. How about that? Yeah, Luigi's Pit Stop. Let's see what's in here. I guess it's just a spot where you can, well, you can picnic, I suppose, if you want. Got some tables in here. A little bit of artwork dedicated to Route 66, because this town is on it as well. You just don't see this kind of stuff much anymore. This total, I guess, 50s and 60s kitsch, Americana, the campiness of it. I mean, you just gotta love this stuff. Or at least I do. Yep, American Family on the Road, Route 66. Dad's got a cigarette in his mouth. And son looks like he's picking his nose. And I guess that's Grandma there. How cool. Well, how about that? Oh, woo. I like this place even more now. I'm always down for some Betty Boop. A legend. All right. Well, let's see what else is here. So, how old do you think these murals are? You got a Mountain Dew one here. You rarely see Mountain Dew ones. Anyway, I'm out on foot real quick, so I can tell you a little bit about the town. Poverty rate is 21.6%. That's pretty high, twice higher than the national average. Median household income's $30,600. Home values here, according to the U.S. Census in 2020, are $58,100. Can you imagine that? Buying a home for $58,000? Wow. Zillow says right now it'll cost you $74,000. That's still cheap. And the average age of this town is 47.6. So, yeah, the populace, the average age is pretty old, almost 48 years old. Interesting. Yep. It's a dog doing his job. Well, I have arrived in Scammon, Kansas. I'm on Main Street. In 1910, The population of this town was 2,233 people. Today there are 376 people. So over the past 110 years, it's been a pretty significant population loss. You can kind of see it as we drive into its downtown. The numbers, poverty level is 20.9, so that's about double the national average. Median household income is $36,300. The U.S. Census in 2020 said the average home here was worth $51,900. Today the average value is $70,900. Wow, just a fascinating place. The average age of the citizens here is 36. So the average person who lives here is 36 years old. A little bit younger town. A little small town of less than 400 people, but look at this church. Goodness. Yeah, I'm gonna get on the other side and get a better look at it. St. Bridget's Catholic Church. I mean, this is an impressive structure, especially for a town this small. This is a big city church building. Wow. Huh. Well, I've drove around the town a little bit, and I'll be honest with you, it's not a bad little town. You know, there's a few old buildings and houses. Downtown, of course, nothing happening there. But it's pretty well kept. You see, I'm driving through right now. If you don't have a lot of money for retirement, this would not be a bad place with home values this low. I mean, what did I say? It was about $70,000 for the average house here. And the area looks nice. I am driving into the town of Weir, Kansas. In the year 1900, there were 2,138 people living here. 2020, there are 569. A pretty significant population drop. Seeing interesting stuff already, though. Take a look at this. Wow. It's incredible. Anyway, some numbers of the city. Poverty rate is 12.3. That's low. It's one of the lowest of these towns on this little trip. The downtown is pretty dead, though, as you can see. Anyway, the median household income is $36,300. According to the U.S. Census, the average home here in 2020 was worth $51,900. Today they're worth $53,000. Look at all this. I can just stop here in the middle of downtown too, because there's nothing going on here but checking out these amazing sights. The number that really stuck out for me, though, is the average age of this town. The people that live here is 22.6. I'm trying to figure out how that's even possible. But according to the U.S. Census, yeah, the average age of the citizenry is 22 years old. Now see, that looks like a small town church. Unlike that other place. Yeah, I'm just a street off the main street. Yeah, it's just a small town. It's not a whole lot to see here. So I'm going to head to the next town. It is called Parsons. Alright, I am entering Parsons, Kansas. Now in 1920, there were 16,000 people in this town. 100 years later, 2020, there's 9,600. So it's lost some population. The downtown, so far, looks really nice, doesn't it? Well developed. You got some cars here, a little bit of traffic. Clean. Wow, it's really nice, actually. Pretty impressive. Let's see, I guess I'll just keep going. Get a look around. Yeah. Let's see, what's the city's numbers? Poverty levels, 20.1. That's pretty low. Let me swing around this way.
At the stop sign, turn left onto Broadway Avenue.
Alright, so Australian Siri is telling me where to go. Oh yeah, this looks interesting over here. Average household income is $41,100. According to the U.S. Census, the average home price in 2020 was $64,600. Today, the average home will run you about $71,000. So, like a lot of these other towns, housing is really cheap. This part of downtown is not as taken care of. Average age of the citizens here is 38 years, 38.4 years old. So it's a pretty young town. Now I'm just pulling up to this, whatever it is. It looks cool. Looks like a castle. Is that a church? We've got some interesting looking stuff over here. Look at that house. She's a beauty. Huh. Yeah, this is a really nice town so far. Yeah, I'm gonna take a look around here. Well, I feel like I need to take another look at this. That looks like a castle. Medieval England era. The architecture. First Presbyterian Church. So it is a church. Man, you gotta love that. First Presbyterian Church, 1872. So they really did build it to look like a castle. I mean, wow. How can you not be wowed by this? I sure am. That's incredible, isn't it? Huh. Well, I got a cat blocking the road. I don't want to run over it. Ah, there she goes. Now she notices. Yeah, cat. Pay attention. I had to see this house. Look at this. I mean, wow. They've got a fountain in the yard. All kinds of stuff. An eccentric person lives here. But what an amazing house. That is so fantastic. Okay, I have arrived in Chetopa. Town is named after a Osage Indian chief. The numbers for this town aren't as pretty as they were for the others. First of all, peak population was in 1890. There were 2,300 people here then. Today there are about 900. So quite a lot of population loss over the past, I don't know, 130 years. That's interesting. Poverty level is 34%. That's high. That's triple the national average. Median household income. This one really sticks out. $21,900. So that means the actual average of everyone who lives in a home is under $22,000 a year. I mean, that's husband and wife, maybe a couple kids, I don't know. But the average income for the household is $21,900. I mean, that is scary low. That's hard to imagine. Average home value, according to the U.S. Census in 2020, is $47,000. Today, a house was on average worth $60,800. So, as is usual here in rural Kansas, housing is cheap. Average age of the person or the people living here is 48.6. 48.6. Wow. So it's a little bit older population. So yeah, I'm going to take a little bit of a look around. Now look at all this here. See what I can find. Town Motel. Wow, it looks like it's open and operating too. Wow, look at all this crazy looking stuff here. I'll tell you what, these small towns never fail to disappoint with some really interesting architecture. That is a really interesting looking home. It's too bad it's not in better shape, but that's amazing architecture. Okay, so that's going to be it for this video. We will be heading to Topeka, Kansas next. Our plan is to hit every state capital. We haven't hit Kansas yet. So the next couple of videos will be in Topeka and around Topeka. So be looking for those.